Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in Council Chambers in the Parish Courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Pastor Ronald Fortune with the Covenant Church in Destrehan.
Let us pray. Father, we lift up this meeting to you, and we thank you for the opportunity to be a part of serving the city. We ask for your guidance tonight so that we are not led to decisions that produce ineffective results. We pray that you direct us so that this meeting can achieve the goals that has been set with positive and powerful results. Lord, help us to listen to with understanding and good will as we place you at the center of this meeting. Plan our course, Lord, establish our steps, and give us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding we need this evening. Lord, let us not make decisions based upon what we know, but let us act and respond based upon your wisdom. Guide us, Lord, as we place this meeting in your hands. As we work through the agenda tonight, we pray that your spirit move freely among us, guiding us with the mind of Christ. Lord, we place our hearts and our minds in your hands so that you may direct us in all we say and do, and we ask this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Fortune. First up, approval of minutes. A motion and a second is needed to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 13th, 2023. I have a motion by Bob Fisher and a second by Marilyn Belloc. Please cast your votes. That motion passes unanimously with Councilman Derensbourg Gordon absent. Now we move to special business, proclamations, canvass returns, etc. Item number 2023-0062, proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month. President Jewell.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation, whereas child abuse and neglect is a complex and ongoing problem in our society affecting many children in our community. And whereas every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas it is the responsibility of every adult who comes in contact with a child to protect that child's inalienable rights to a safe, nurturing childhood. And whereas St. Charles Parish has dedicated individuals and organizations who work daily to counter the problem of child maltreatment and to help parents obtain the assistance they need. And whereas our communities are stronger when all citizens become aware of child maltreatment prevention and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among families, social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas all citizens, community agencies, faith organizations, and businesses will work to increase their effort to support families. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in St. Charles Parish and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. I believe today we have some folks from CASA here to accept.
Good evening, everybody. Thank y'all so much. Just on behalf of Child Advocacy Services, we are so grateful to y'all for recognizing this very important month every year. So as we are going into April, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. That's when we do our big fundraiser, and if you ever see any blue pinwheels around town, that is the symbol for Child Abuse Prevention Month. So if anyone is interested in learning more about that, please reach out to us. And for those of you who don't know, we are a nonprofit, and we just moved to a new office on River Road, and we host a few programs, one of those being our CASA program. Those are volunteers from the community who work with children in the foster care system. And then we also offer other free services like counseling. We have our counselor here and our CASA Advocate Supervisor, Marcy and Jody. And I do some free classes for community members like parenting classes and any kind of educational trainings. But, just again, thank y'all so much for recognizing this and honoring this every year. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Item number 2023-0063, Proclamation, Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Financial Literacy Month. Proclamation. Whereas sexual assault and financial literacy are key issues for victims of domestic and sexual violence, at the same time, one of the greatest barriers to escaping a pattern of abuse is economics. And whereas today's economy is exacerbating sexual assault, and at the same time, it's limiting the options of survivors to get help. And whereas 99% of women who experience physical violence in a relationship also experience some form of economic abuse. Abusers use finances as an invisible weapon to help victims trapped in abusive relationships. And whereas the National Network to End Domestic Violence and the Allstate Foundation has teamed up to create a unique program that is helping survivors of abuse become financially literate and independent from those who continuously perpetrate abuse against them. And whereas the Allstate Foundation Purple Purse campaign is aimed at creating long-term safety and security for survivors through financial empowerment, the program ignites fundraisers for hundreds of national, state, and local domestic violence organizations. And whereas the Metro Centers for Community Advocacy provides free and confidential service to women, children, and male survivors to enable families to regain their physical and emotional strength with the goal of providing assistance to anyone seeking help. And this accomplishment through state, federal, and local grant monies as well as donations. And whereas the mission of Metro Centers of Community Advocacy is to break the cycle of violence and aid survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and stalking. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Financial Literacy Month in St. Charles Parish, and encourage all residents to educate themselves and speak out against sexual violence and to increase their understanding of financial stability. And we have Mr. Mark Medina here to accept this proclamation.
Good evening, all. First off, want to say thank you, President Jewell, all the council members for St. Charles Parish Council, for one, recognizing the importance of Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Financial Literacy Awareness Month. At Metro, as our mission statement says, we aid the survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking, and we do that through a variety of services. but it's really intertwined with both the sexual assault and the financial literacy that we do here, because although we provide free and confidential counseling services to sexual assault survivors and victims, we also provide free services to any of our clients of domestic violence, sexual assault, and even stalking, financial literacy courses, actually through the All-State program that was mentioned, and we do savings matchings and whatnot. We do that all year round because we know that one of the big barriers, as the proclamation says, for folks to get out of abusive situations are the economic barriers. And just because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, I do want to remind everyone and ask everybody that just like domestic violence doesn't just happen in October when it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as domestic violence was mentioned several times during this proclamation, same thing goes with sexual violence. It's happening all year round in all our communities, to children, to women, to men. And believe me, I know that because we see those clients every day. So I want to thank you for this proclamation to bring awareness, but also would like to ask the community and also the parish council to back up this proclamation with, like the proclamation says, educating yourself on the issues, and also always being supportive of victims and survivors of sexual assault, in word, but also in deed. So thank you all very much again, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. Medina. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wait. I had a question.
Yes.
What is the best way in case somebody needs to contact you or your service? Should they contact the sheriff's office and they would put them in contact with you? Or how does one go about reaching out to your service?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. First, you mentioned reaching out to law enforcement. That's always an option, especially after the actual incident of sexual assault. If somebody wants to, get to a safe place, that's the number one thing. Get to safety, because through the sheriff's office or the local police department, there are resources available, like going to
So they
one of
have
our
your contact information?
river parishes. River Parishes also has the medical advocacy program in which survivors of sexual assault.
What is River Parishes?
St. Charles, St. James, and St. John, there's a consolidated sexual assault forensic examination program which rotates between the hospitals. So wherever a victim of sexual assault presents after an incident, even if it's 4 to 5 days afterwards, they can receive a confidential sexual assault forensic examination from a trained nurse, and they'll collect evidence that can be used even if they don't proceed with pressing charges, though that evidence will be saved indefinitely. But yes, the sheriff has our information, but not everybody wants to go through law enforcement. And so they can, if they don't have one of our brochures, they could just Google Metro Centers, and we're going to pop up right at the top. And it has a number, which is our 24-hour everything number. If they contact our number, 504-837-5400, there's always going to be a live human being that's going to answer that to address whatever needs they have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
for your services.
Yes. Oh, please.
Ms.
Stand here for a
Fonseca.
second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up to Councilwoman Cluley's question, is the service that's provided for the River Parishes free of charge?
Yes.
If someone would show up at a hospital and not go through, I guess, the police and service?
Yes, if somebody wants to get a sexual assault forensic examination, state law actually dictates that no forensic examination can be done and then the victim charged for it. And so that includes everything that is involved in that. And then there are other programs, like crime victims reparation programs, that if there is anything that's connected to that exam that might cost something, where it will end up being no cost to the victim.
Okay. Thank you. That's
Any
good
other
information.
questions?
You look good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. Item number 2023-0058, Proclamation, Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month and World Autism Awareness Day. Ms. Belloc.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Proclamation. Whereas autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopment disorder that occurs in approximately 1 in every 44 children and youth in the United States. And whereas the United States has a diverse community of children, youth, and adults on the autism spectrum from all ethnic and social backgrounds, and whereas autism spectrum disorder affects a person's relationships, communications, interests, and behaviors, and whereas early intervention for your children on the autism spectrum may help them develop communication, social, and other skills, resulting in more meaningful participation in their communities. And whereas children, youth, and adults on the autism spectrum and their families can benefit from community support inclusive practices, and with this assistance, an increasing number of individuals on the autism spectrum are able to live and work independently, and whereas schools can also play an important role in raising awareness by providing activities that teach students about autism and spread understanding. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month in St. Charles Parish, and proclaim Sunday, April 2nd, 2023 as World Autism Awareness Day. We urge all citizens in St. Charles Parish to attend the Chosen Ones Foundation Annual Autism Awareness and Acceptance Bubbles and Balloons Bash to be held the last Sunday in April at the West Bank Bridge Park in Luling. We have Precious Alexander and Aaron Baker Calvey to accept.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much. My name is Precious Singleton Alexander, and this is my Vice President, Ms. Erin Baker Kelvey. We have a newly formed 501c3 organization here in St. Charles Parish titled the Chosen Ones Foundation, and the purpose is to raise public awareness, acceptance, inclusion, and increase advocacy efforts for individuals on the autism spectrum disorder. I'm a parent of a 5-year-old on the spectrum. Erin has a 4-year-old named Jeremiah on the spectrum. Any parents, grandparents here? Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all. On behalf of the autism community, the parents, caregivers, employees here that may be on the spectrum, we thank you all so much. We would love the community support on Sunday, April 30th at the West Bank Bridge Park at 2 p.m. to come out to the first annual Chosen Ones Foundation Bubbles and Balloon Bash. It's going to be an event where there's plenty of fun, sensory tables, community friendly, and of course, autism friendly. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Precious. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Oh, I like that. Nice. Thank you very much. Item number 2023-0060, Proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Proclamation. Whereas thousands of dedicated telecommunicators daily serve the citizens of the United States by answering their emergency phone calls for police, fire, and medical services, and by dispatching the appropriate assistance as quickly as possible, and whereas the critical functions performed by professional telecommunicators is included Also includes those related to highway safety and maintenance activities, Office of Emergency Preparedness, and other operations performed by federal, state, and local government agencies. And whereas professional telecommunicators work to provide the emergency response capabilities of those communication systems through their leadership and participation in training programs and other activities provided by organizations such as the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International Incorporated and the National Emergency Numbering Association and the Medical Priority Dispatch System. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of St. Charles Parish and the parish president, do hereby proclaim the week of April 9th through the 15th, 2023, as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the parish of St. Charles Parish to honor the recognition of our public safety telecommunicators and the vital contributions they make to the safety and well-being of our citizens. We have Commander Raven Mixon here to accept.
We'd just like to say thank you for recognizing National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. This is a very important week for us. Of course, every day our heroes under the headset should be recognized, but we take advantage of this special week and we shower our personnel with gifts and recognition and awards, anything we can think of to make them feel special during this week. But we also like to thank the parish president and the parish council for your continued support and providing the resources and the tools for us to make sure we give the best to the community. Today we have with us the people that work today, the first responders, and we have Shift Manager Jennifer, Assistant Commander Angel, Dominique, and Shantae, their Communication Specialist. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, and I just want to thank all of our dispatchers, not only who are here today, but who are, at the job every single day. You all do a great job of making sure that our first responders get to where they need to be, and you do it in such a calm, collected way. I get to listen to y'all while I'm in my truck. A lot of times I don't know what y'all are saying, but it doesn't matter because the people on the other end of that, radio do know what you're saying, and y'all do a great job. So thanks for all y'all do.
Mr. Fisher.
Ladies, I'd like to thank y'all personally because I've been on the other side of that radio. I know we talk about this every year, but everything you guys do to help us, especially the fire department, EMS, sheriff's office, is greatly appreciated. When you can have that calming voice and you can get me the resources that I need, is very, very much appreciated, and I want to thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2023-0061, proclamation, St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Day. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Proclamation, whereas the One Team, One Fight organization will be holding their 7th annual St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Festival on Saturday, April 15th, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the St. Charles Parish West Bank Bridge Park in Luling. And whereas everyone is invited to come and enjoy a day of delicious crawfish, music, and fun while supporting the first responders of St. Charles Parish. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the parish president, do hereby proclaim Saturday, April 15, 2023, as St. Charles Parish First Responders Crawfish Cook-Off Day and invite all citizens to attend and enjoy the fun and festivities at the West Bank Bridge Park in Luling. And this is a wonderful event. If you haven't been, you should go. It's a lot of fun. In fact, I attended the very first one they had where they had maybe 5 teams and maybe 50 people show up, and that was great. So you've really done remarkable about making this a big event. And this is the first time it's going to be at the Bridge Park. So Natalie Wright and her team, please come up.
Hello. Thank you guys again. As always, we love the parish's support, our community support. It's been amazing just to have the backing of the community members, just to show the support for our first responders, because with all the many recent tragedies we've had here, COVID, the hurricane, I mean, it's just been amazing to watch these folks go in and out, and most of them are volunteering their time. So just to have that community backing, the parish's backing, a lot of our sponsors backing, just to give support and praise to those that give so much to save lives around the parish every day. Sorry, I always hate community talking, so anything to add? It's going to be a great event, just like Ms. Cooley said, 7th annual. It's getting bigger and better every year. Can't thank our judges enough, so hopefully y'all come hungry, because a lot of teams are getting really creative this year, so it should be really fun. Excited to see what the Bridge Park holds for us, because we're almost packed. So thank you guys again, and thank my team.
Item number 2023-0064, proclamation, Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurological disorder of the central nervous system affecting more than 1 million people in the United States, and whereas research suggests that the cause of Parkinson's disease is a combination of genetic and environmental factors, but the exact cause and progression of the disease is still unknown. And whereas the symptoms of Parkinson's disease vary from person to person and can include tremors, slowness of movement and rigidity, difficulty with balance, swallowing, chewing, and speaking, cognitive impairment, and dementia, mood disorders such as depression and anxiety, and other symptoms. Whereas research, education, and community support services are needed to find more effective treatments and to provide access to quality care for those living with the disease today. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish, and urge all community members to learn more about Parkinson's disease from the Davis Finney Foundation for Parkinson and support for the individuals living with disease and their caregivers. We do not have anyone here to accept, but we will make sure that Ms. Susan Sapper Fields gets a copy of this proclamation. Okay, moving on. Item number 2023-0065, proclamation Fair Housing Month in St. Charles. President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Whereas the 55th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, during the month of April, is an occasion for all Americans individually and collectively to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom from housing discrimination wherever it exists. And whereas this law guarantees for each citizen the critical personal element of freely choosing a home. And whereas a fair housing law has been passed by the state of Louisiana, and the implementation of the law requires the positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. And whereas the department and agencies of the state of Louisiana are to provide leadership in the effort to making fair housing not just an idea, but an ideal for all of our citizens. And whereas barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen to freely choose a home will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Fair Housing Month in St. Charles Parish. There is no one here to accept this tonight, but we will make sure that the appropriate folks receive this proclamation.
Thank you, President Jewell. Proclamation 2023-0066, Proclamation National Community Development Week. President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has operated since 1974 to provide local governments with the resources required to primarily meet the needs of low and moderate income persons. And whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program is among the few remaining federal programs available to address the needs of low and moderate income persons in small cities. And whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has provided St. Charles Parish with important and flexible assistance to meet the needs of low and moderate income residents by funding sewer, water, and street improvement projects, economic development projects, and other public improvement projects. And whereas Congress and the nation acknowledge the critical value of the Community Development Block Program and the significant projects that rely on its funds for support. And whereas the week of April 10th through the 14th, 2023, has been reserved for recognition and appreciation of the Community Development Block Grant Program, now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through the 14th, 2023, as National Community Development Week. And we will make sure that our grants office receives this one since they interface so closely with CDBG.
All right. Thank you, President Jewell. We will now move on and hear reports, finance, and administration activities. Item number 2023-0071, the New Orleans Aviation Board. We have Mr. Kevin Dolio here to report.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair, council members, President Jewell. Thank you for the invitation to come and update you on activities at the airport. We've had a quite active year since the report of last year, and you'll recognize some slides will be familiar, others updated with good, fresh, new information, and I promise to be efficient. There we go. As I've noted before in previous presentations, we're a very important airport to the region. 85% of the people flying into or out of the state of Louisiana use this facility. We're the largest airport within a 350-mile radius, with our extended catchment area going as far east as Pensacola, Mobile, north to Jackson, and just about to Lake Charles, Louisiana to the west. So we draw pretty good traffic from that region, especially large draw from the Baton Rouge area. Before the pandemic, we set records in the traffic through the airport. We were at 13.6 million passengers. Of course, as you all know, nationwide through the pandemic, airport traffic just dropped to almost zero at one point along the way, and has recovered pretty well. We finished 22 at about 87% of 2019 numbers, with the last quarter of 2022 actually tracking about 91-92% of that quarter in 2019. January of this year in the 91-92% range. February with a very strong Mardi Gras season. It looks like once we get the official numbers or reports from the airlines, I expect we're going to show a little bit stronger than February of 2019. And March so far seems to be tracking in the high 80s. I expect it to finish around that. We've brought in new air service, even through the pandemic. The most important and biggest piece of new air service was Breeze Airways. Breeze came into the market in a very strong way with 10 destinations. They're at 11 destinations now. And more importantly, named us one of their 5 operations bases in their entire network. What an operations base is for Breeze, besides just air service, there's also a maintenance base and also a base for crew members, pilots and flight attendants that are based here, live here, and fly into and out of here. There's expected economic impact over the first 5 years of direct tourism spend. at 867 million, or 967, I'm sorry, and up to 290 high-paying jobs. That's more the pilots, flight attendants, maintenance people, and management types. That doesn't include agents and ground handlers and so forth. More service through the period. Frontier launched Las Vegas in September, and Atlanta. JetBlue with new service to New York LaGuardia. British Airways resumed service to London with 4 frequencies a week, and they're about to go to 5 days a week. Air Canada came back with Toronto service, and you'll see later in those bullets that Air Canada is now offering nonstop Montreal service. So as we expect Air Transat to return to the market, we'll have 2 carriers serving Montreal. Spirit Airlines began in September of 22. Spirit also, through this period going into the pandemic, announced San Pedro Sula as a new destination for them, and that service has been going pretty well for them. Air France with special sections to support a large conference late in the year, Southwest to Long Beach, and again, I mentioned Air Canada to Montreal, and expect more coming. The airlines have indicated quite generally that they see the market really strong in their look ahead, and I expect we'll see more tick up in flight activity as we progress over the next year or so. Introduced some new parking products. Introduced valet parking, which is convenient, curbside. You pull up for $36 a day, drop your keys curbside, check in with a valet. On your return, there's a convenient return down on the lower level of the terminal through the claim area, and your vehicle's pulled up to a door in the garage. That's a very convenient pickup. Parking reservations. You can make reservations up to a year out. If you know the dates you're traveling, up to a year out and within at least 24 hours in advance or better, you can book any one of our parking facilities. So if there's a facility you definitely want in, and you'd want a chance at being full when you come and have to go to a different facility, you can book that facility in advance, and when you show up, there's a spot for you in that facility. We guarantee 15 minutes or less from the economy, the remote economy shuttle garage to the North Terminal, or you're 50% off your parking fee for that stay. I think we paid only 1 busload since we introduced this, and it was because of a fender bender on the roadway system at the North Terminal as the bus was trying to get into position. It's unfortunate we have to keep saying nearly all shops because it's one very small retail location that's being reconcepted and is not back up yet, but the program is essentially fully open and back to full hours in October of 2022, and traffic's been really good through the concessions program. As a result of all of our efforts in the terminal, our operational tweaks, how we're handling our finances at the airport, the cost for tenants to operate there, and because of how well we communicate what we're doing, you see quite a bit of recognition from national and international entities, highly regarded entities. Best Large Airport in North America, J.D. Power in 2021. Our largest industry trade organization that recognized us through their survey product as the best airport in North America in the 5 to 15 million passenger range, 2 years in a row. Most recently announced for 22 was announced about a month ago. We just received recognition for Best Overall Concessions Program, Best Local Concept for Emerald's Table, and Best Concessions Program Design from Airport Experience Awards this year, announced a month ago. Best Hygiene for the efforts we take there, particularly through the pandemic. And I mentioned finances and the cost to operate here, the most efficient airport in North America from the Air Transport Research Society in 2021. So it's just a number of, even Uber, fastest Uber pickup in the country for 2022. So it just runs across the board over the entire operation. And I commend our staff, I commend our tenants, because our tenants have a role to play in the customer service satisfaction surveys up at the top there. We're currently master planning a facility. We started our master plan about 6 months ago. Airport master plans are about an 18 to 24-month process. Airport master plans give you a 20-year look ahead, inventorying the facilities and capability you have on hand today, forecast traffic out over the 20-year horizon, develop plans for needed improvements or increase in facilities over that horizon as well. So it gives you a pretty good blueprint, pretty good layout of how you need to track for it and develop facilities to accommodate growth in traffic over the 20-year horizon. With a better look in the 5 to 10-year window, it's a much more accurate look. But 20 years out gives you a pretty good idea of what you'll be dealing with. Throw-offs on the front end of the master plan. As you know, there's been a lot of discussion, and it's starting to look very real, that Baton Rouge, New Orleans rail will happen. With that event, there'll be a stop at the airport. Now, the airport stop is on the other side of Airline Highway from the old terminal, on the south side of the facility. So as we're working through our master plan, the front end is giving us concepts to work through in order to connect our customers from rail around to the north terminal of the airport. And it also gives us a layout on our 1,500-acre site, all of our aeronautical needs going forward, so we can preserve the ability to develop to meet those needs going forward. So that's where we are at this point. It's been a very active year. We just came back, Aaron and I and our chairman just came back from Washington, D.C. on Friday. We were there all week, meeting with different members of our delegation, participating in an airport legislative update conference, and also this guy that's been in the industry 40-something years. There's not many things I can think of I haven't done in the industry, but I did something for the first time last week. I testified before a congressional committee. It was the aviation subcommittee of the T&I committee of the House. So it was a very active, very interesting, very busy trip to D.C., very good meetings, good support for what we're trying to do at the airport. So I expect good support as we're moving forward and actually seeking funding to support our program. Okay. With that, I think that was efficient. I think I hit the 10 minutes, and I'll take any questions if you have any.
Ms. Cooley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know, I didn't see your testimony, but I'm guessing that it had something to do with air traffic controllers and maybe outdated monitoring equipment. Do we see that as a problem at your airport or our airport?
No, we don't see that going forward. And I tell you, the panel, it was 3 hours of testimony. It was a representative representing the airlines, myself, the airport industry, air traffic control from the FAA, and a gentleman that was representing handicapped veterans. So it was really a committee to deal with the customer experience, customer service in the industry overall. And the airline rep took most of the questions because there's a lot of issues there with the passenger experience. I spoke more to the industry, our side of the industry's needs as it relates to funding for airport development going forward and different programs we need to see improvements or increases in. And HCC spoke a lot to the NOTAM issue recently in the meltdown. And what I picked up in the testimony is I think they're tracking forward really well to ensure we don't see situations like that going forward.
Do you have a timeline on the completion of the I-10 ramp construction?
We're getting third quarter. It's a DOTD projects. I can't speak to their schedule, but what they're giving us is third quarter
This
of
year?
this year. Yeah.
And the valet parking, that $36, that includes the parking, or is that just on top of the parking?
No, it includes the parking.
Oh.
That's the
So
full
it's
thing.
24-hour period is 36.
24-hour period.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good product. We have plenty of parking availability, but of course, 2,000 of the spaces are on the south side, but very convenient shuttle service. But I say the valet can come in for those that like that type service, but it also is a good bailout if you haven't checked availability before leaving for the airport, missed our dynamic signage on the interstate, kind of indicating where parking availability is. And don't hit the 2 hours ahead of time that we recommend. You're there close. The close-in facilities are full. You don't have time to go to the other side now. Valet can bail you out in that situation as well.
Right. Ms. Cormier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to commend you, Mr. Dolio. Since you've been here, you've really been very forward-thinking in a very short period of time, and also thank Mr. Smith for representing us so well on the Aviation Board. I've traveled a lot in the last 2 years, and other than a few airline strikes, travel's really been smooth through MSY. I think we're very progressive in our airport, which is not usually the case when we're in Louisiana. So, I think we're really lucky to have St. Charles Parish to have a stake in this airport. One question about the airport master plan: do you foresee any potential plans or accommodations or attraction for air cargo? And I don't know if parts of the facility even would accommodate that, but
That's
just
part
curious.
of what will come out of the master plan is a more organized development of cargo facilities on the south side that we've moved off. So the opportunities there to develop and grow the air cargo activity
Good.
here as well.
Very good. And most importantly, back to the parking issue. I think we're all really intrigued with that. So the parking reservations, when you make a reservation, do you have a reserved spot, or just any open spot is what you get?
You have any open spot in the garage. So in other words, if a garage can handle, say, 2,000 spaces, the garage will show full. Any airport garage is going to show full at about 100 spaces still open, because you want to ensure that anyone going in can more readily find a spot.
Sure.
And so when you make a reservation for that time period that you've booked, it takes that space out of inventory.
I got you. Okay. And that's done online through the airport's
You
website?
can go through our website.
Okay.
And it's a couple clicks and you're there. It's very easy.
Sounds wonderful. That could have saved me.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you both for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. Dolio.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Item number 2023-0072, President remark and reports. Mr. Jewell.
Thanks, Chairwoman. And I want to say I thought it was incredible how many customers we're getting from how far away. I myself showed up to the airport about 30 minutes before my flight took off last week. I left the house at 4. I was at my gate at 4:30, so I love that. I think I got lucky. All right. All right, we will start over on Clayton Drive, a Public Works update. Been doing a lot of work in and around Norco, around drainage, trying to make sure that we are moving water as quickly as possible to our pump station. As you all know, the council passed a resolution, an ordinance, I believe last year, to do a conceptual design of a new pump station in Norco. Actually, I say a new pump station, an expansion and rework of the existing Engineers Canal pump station. And so a lot of the work that we're doing now is working towards getting water to that new pump station, because the name of the game in Norco and really everywhere in the parish is getting it out as fast as possible. So we'll be coming to the council here in the next few months on a full engineering of that project, but we believe we have a very good concept to move forward on. Well, just go back real quick, and we'll just talk about that. So you can see this was along Clayton Drive, and we did a little something different on here that we don't normally do, but I believe it was, we kind of felt like it was needed in this case just to help with erosion and protecting the culvert. You can see that kind of concrete head wall and collar around the culvert. So kudos to our carpenter crew who helped us do that. Mimosa at Primrose, I actually had a resident reach out to me who says every morning that they watch the back tire of school buses go off of the edge of Mimosa Street while it's turning onto Primrose. And so we worked with our in-house folks over in Public Works and our carpenters, as well as our road crew, to add some box culverts at the end of either end of the street, and then I guess what I'll say is flare out the asphalt to allow for wider turned on vehicles. We're going to take a look at other streets in along Primrose, because I know this wasn't the only one, and it seems to be that how the street and the angle in which it intersects Primrose, because Primrose is kind of changing directions as you go along, is what causes this to kind of happen. Over to wastewater. These are very fresh pictures. These are as of today. We began setting generators around the parish at major lift and major booster stations. So 4 generators were done today. DeZalman's, Baigosh, Parody, and I might actually be a 5th one in there because I saw one in Willow Ridge as well. There are going to be a total of 17 generators that are going to be installed parish-wide, and this is a part of our resiliency project, and this was paid for, if you recall, with American Rescue Plan dollars. So federal tax dollars, no local tax dollars going to this, and we are maximizing this project by doing all the work in-house. Those slabs were poured in-house. The electrical work will be done in-house. And as you can see, our drainage heavy equipment crews are doing the heavy lifts for this. You always hear us say when we get into a mass power outage situation to conserve water, don't shower, especially if it's going to be a long, if we know it's going to be a long outage. We ask people to refrain from using anything that would require sewer services. While our employees go around leapfrogging with the generator, getting sewage influent from one lift station to the next, this is going to allow our system as a whole to operate more efficiently. The cost of this project was just over $1 million, and we spend about $250,000 a year renting generators. So this project will pay for itself in about 4 or 5 years. So we're excited for this, and I know our wastewater employees are excited as well. Okay, our Veterans Memorial Plaza ribbon cutting is coming up on Wednesday, April 5th at 6 p.m. Again, we are holding it later in the evening to allow more people who may be working to come to this event. We're excited. We did a walkthrough today with our VFW folks, and we are looking forward to all of you being here. This is a project that's been a long time in the making. It's spanned across now 3 administrations, and we can't wait to cut the ribbon on it. While, as we know, you can purchase a brick. Unfortunately, your brick, if you purchase it now, will not be installed by the ribbon cutting, but we will do so immediately after. If you're interested in purchasing a brick to honor your veteran, we want you to visit www.stcharlesparish.gov/bricks for more information. Trash Bash is also coming up. We are partnering with the Lieutenant Governor and the Keep Louisiana Beautiful Day for our 15th annual Trash Bash. That means Trash Bash is going to be a little bit later in the year than it normally is. It's going to be on Saturday, April 22nd, and that's going to start at 11:30 a.m. The celebration, is going to start at 11:30 a.m. Our Trash Bash crews will be hard at work in the early morning around the parish collecting trash. Last year, we had our biggest participation yet. We're hoping to go even bigger this year. Also, I know a lot of people are very excited about household hazardous waste collection. Household hazardous waste collection is going to take place on the same day. Remember, Trash Bash festivities will take place at the community center, and household hazardous waste will take place at the West Bank Bridge Park. We did not want to hold those together at the same place. And again, the first time in 3 years that household hazardous waste has happened, so not since 2019 has this happened. So, and that was because of COVID. Items that can be accepted by household hazardous waste: paint, electronics, aerosol cans, oils, pesticides, herbicides, light bulbs, batteries, car batteries, alkaline, NCAD, no lithium batteries, and also household chemicals such as bleach, soap, cleaners, detergents. Pretty much anything you can't throw away in a trash can, you can bring to this. Okay, Charlie and his Preparedness Pals, which is hosted by our Department of Homeland Security, will be going out this week at various elementary schools to educate our 3rd through 5th graders on hurricane preparedness. And we're thankful to a generous contribution by Shell to allow for us to put this on for our school children in St. Charles Parish. Charlie and his Preparedness Pals is an award-winning program that our EOC put together as a way to educate children and general emergency preparedness. Over to Parks and Recreation, we're going to have our Oshner All Sports Easter Camp. That's going to be in partnership with Oshner Performance Training. They're going to offer a 3-day all sports camp clinic over Easter break, April 11th through April 13th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the West Bank Bridge Park Pavilion. Camp is offered for kids from 7 to 13 years old, and the program will consist of warm-ups, speed and agility, polymetric, strength training, core and conditioning, as well as flexibility. Athletes will learn the proper sprinting techniques as well as how to properly change direction. This is all in an effort to make sure that we equip our St. Charles Parish athletes with the best possible training and safety tips so that they stay healthy out on the field. Registration is $90 per camper, and to register, we want you to visit scpparksandrec.com. Additionally, we got beanbag baseball going on. Adults 55 and older are invited to the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center every Wednesday through May 31st to play beanbag baseball. Beanbag baseball, that takes place at 10 a.m. every Wednesday through May 31st. If you want to learn more, give us a call at 985-783-5090. Last but not least, I don't have a slide for this. I just want to mention that last week, myself and several other members of parish presidents and other local leaders attended a fly-in for the Shores Group, which is the Sharing Offshore Revenues from Energy Resources group. We went up and kind of lobbied Congress on the BREEZE Act, which is BREEZE and RISE Act, I should say, which are both basically expansions of GOMESA and also create a framework for offshore wind leases. As you know, every year we get money from GOMESA to do various projects with. That money comes from the sale of oil and gas leases. And to make sure that we are flexible in the future and that we encompass or we are flexible with how energy is trending, we want to make sure that the framework for offshore wind lease sales is in place as well so that we are able to capitalize on that money. I'll give you an example. If the BREEZE Act were in place, the state of New York would have got $2 billion from just last year. And that was because they had a $4 billion wind lease sale. The Breeze Act says that 50% of wind lease sales and oil and gas lease sales would go to the states to be distributed. Right now, we get 37.5% of oil and gas. Additionally, 12.5% would go to NAWCA, which is the North American Wetlands Conservation Wetlands Association, which is beneficial for us because that money tends to come to areas that have wetlands. So we're excited about that. It's actually, the Breeze Act has actually been wrapped up into H.R. 1, which is a big energy bill that is actually going before Congress this week, and we hope that passes. We hope that the Senate takes it up. They may not agree with everything in that bill, but we hope they can at least go to conference committee and the Breeze Act will come out untouched. Thanks.
Thank you, President Jewell. Next, we have ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication and public hearing. April 10th, 2023, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hahnville. 2023-0067, 2023-0068, 2023-0069, 2023-0070, 2023-0075. The next item of businesses are ordinances scheduled for public hearing introduced at previous meetings. Item number 2023-0052, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Pintail Contracting Services, LLC, for the East Bank C Plant Filter Program, project number WWKS 96, in the amount of $2,023,900. Mr. Gordon.
Good evening, members of the council. I just wanted to give you a little bit on this project scope. So Pintail provided construction services to construct improvements, upgrades that constitute a comprehensive refurbishment of the C plant filter system at the East Bank plant, the operation of which comprises approximately 40% of the East Bank plant's total water production capacity, or a total of a million gallons a day of flow. The improvements and upgrades will include repairs to the water supply piping system, replacing all metal water troughs and associated hardware with fiberglass troughs and stainless steel hardware, replacing all steel inlet weirs and siphon valves, stainless steel weirs and valves, replacements of filter media, filter floor system, vacuum pumps, electrical conduit and wiring, and construction of a new filter catwalk, walkways, handrails, and support beams. I wanted to point out also that, obviously with the assistance of the council and the administration, with our water sector grant application, we received $911,149 towards the construction of this from the water sector program. And I have any questions?
File number 2023-0052 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does any of this have to do with repairs from the storm damage?
No, ma'am. No. However, that said, the roof of the C filter will be part of the East Bank IDA repairs. That is currently under design. It's close to about 95% complete.
But that's not in this contract?
That is not in this contract. Correct.
All the bids were over the estimate by anywhere from, I think, like 15 to like 29%.
So at the end, so this design was started in 2019. Originally, it was a probable cost estimate of $1.3 million. That was including professional services. At the time, right before we went to bid, taking in various considerations and some of the changes that were made, it was pegged at about $1.97 million. So ultimately, it was about 11% over the probable cost estimate. Those and the differences for the increases, I'll read them off to you because Councilwoman Fonseca asked me earlier today, so I brought the list considering I might get that question. Increased contractor labor rates to retain their employees, overall inflation over the last 3.5 years, higher delivery costs due to high fuel costs, the high cost of stainless steel and metal components. We did add to the project removal of a walkway and replacement with aluminum catwalk and handrails and kick plates, and the higher current cost of piping internal to filters. So really with the change in the scope, there's a walkway between the older portion of the building and the C filter. It was kind of, I guess you could say, haphazardly done. And it's not level, and it never really looks secure. So we decided to actually take that out and redo it between the two buildings.
For the inspections of this kind of work, is the engineer?
Well, we will have a resident inspector, yes. And we've gotten that cost from them. I can get you that in total at a later time if you want.
So that's not included in any of this?
That's not included in this, no. That's under the engineering services.
All right, thanks.
Is there any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0052. That passes unanimously. Item number 2023-0053, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 2 to Ordinance Number 20-7-7, which approved the professional services agreement with T. Baker Smith, LLC, to perform engineering services for the 2020 West Bank Master Drainage Plan, MDP, project number P200602, in the amount not to exceed $506,218.25. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a continuation of the Master Drainage Plan. We're adding the last 4 watersheds on the West Bank out of the 10 that we had originally. And we're also adding a little bit of services to take the whole master plan and put it into one nice package so that it's in one document with some narrative to show what the process was.
Okay. File number 2023-0053 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. State your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question on the second page of the amendment where it says the design meetings, they're not supposed to have any more than 3. And if they do, then they'll charge you extras. Why is that so restrictive? Is that, y'all get out of hand or something?
No, it's just a matter of the fact that they've seen cost increase, and so we put a limit on it so that if we go past that, the engineer has a way of coming back to ask for more money because they only can put so much time and effort into those meetings and before it becomes cost prohibitive.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Miles, what's our timeline on this?
This should be done by the end of this year.
All of it?
All of it.
Okay.
Is there any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0053. And that passes unanimously. Next item is item number 2023-0054, an ordinance to approve the purchase and/or expropriation of 1,482 square feet perpetual sewer servitude and 2,223 square feet temporary construction servitude over property owned by John T. Lambert Jr. and Michael C. Melanson, designated as Lot 1A of the John Lambert Tract for the St. Rose Sewer Network Upgrade Project. Mr. Palamone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this item, number 0054 and 55, are basically the same item Wastewater is looking to add a 6 or 8 inch force main between, going to run between Charlestown and Rue Landrew and Bar None. And there are 4 properties between the Riverview subdivision and Bar None that we need to get a servitude for. 2 of the property owners have already agreed to it. The other 2 are working with right now. This ordinance basically just the council authorized administration to either pay the appraised value of $813 approximately, or if necessary, and we can't come to a negotiated agreement, we can expropriate it.
Okay. File number 2023-0054 is now open for public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Belloc.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm trying to find out exactly, as I was looking at this map, can you tell me exactly where you're going to purchase this servitude? I see it says Lot 1A.
So if you're familiar, between the Riverview, excuse me, between the Riverview subdivision and Bar None against the railroad track, okay, so this servitude that we're going to get will start, I think there's a railroad and an Entergy servitude. It'll start at the end of the Entergy into the property owners. The 10 feet will be into the property owners' property. And there's 4 property owners, 4 groups, I should say, that own the property. Like I said, 2 have agreed to the servitude, and 2 we're talking with right now.
Yeah.
So it's right up against the railroad tracks.
Okay, great, thank you. So you're still waiting on two people to
Yes, ma'am.
decide if they're going to do it? All
And we
right.
talked to them as early as this morning, so it's still going, talking.
Okay. As far as getting you have a timeline, if they were to accept you have a timeline on this? Because I know we're having major issues back there.
Yeah, no, this will help with all the surcharging that's going on in there back to River Road and all that. And it'll also, there's another project coming down that'll eventually, when it's all done, it'll definitely assist in the future development of some of the St. Rose area. Timeline, this is going to be done in-house, so as soon as we can get the agreement, get the servitudes authorized, we're ready to roll.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Belloc. Is there any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote for file number 2023-0054. And that passes unanimously. Mr. Palamone, I know that you said they're both doing the same thing, but I still have to open public discussion.
Sure, yeah.
Item number 2023-0055, an ordinance to approve the purchase and/or expropriation of 1,477 square feet perpetual servitude, sewer servitude, and 2,214 square feet temporary construction servitude over property owned by Martha King Lambert, Edward W. Lambert Jr., Sally Lambert Sexsnyder, and Mary Jane Lambert, and/or all other owners of record as their interests may appear designated as Lot 7 of the John Lambert Tract for the St. Rose Sewer Network Upgrade Project. File number 2023-0055 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0055. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2023-0051, an ordinance providing and authorizing an execution of the contract with Pintail Contracting Services, LLC, for Hurricane Ida repairs and reconstruction, Department of Waterworks, West Bank Facilities, project numbers WWKS 107 or WWKS 108-334 in the amount of $1,432,000. Mr. Gordon.
Good evening again. So this construction contract concerns a contract between the parish and Pintail to provide construction services to repair the Hurricane Ida damage to the Department of Waterworks West Bank facilities, including the billing office and treatment plant. At the treatment plant, there was some roof damage on 3 of the buildings. There was also a small outbuilding that was like a storage shed that was destroyed that'll get reconstructed. And obviously the billing office, which is completely gutted at this point, and it will be the complete renovation of that space. That space we have reconfigured it to be a little more efficient. Plus, I'd like to, we got a little office, so if people have something that they need to talk to us about or sit down and conduct business, they can do that in private instead of standing at the window and trying to conduct their personal business with other customers standing there. I don't think that's really appropriate, so we're going to be changing that.
Thank you. File number 2023-0051 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Dufresne.
So Grant, this is like, you said roof damage on 3 buildings, an outbuilding and rebuilding an office?
Yes, sir.
Like any kind of square footage that we could have kind of looked at and figured? I mean, 1.4 million. I mean, what are we building?
So in the I'll get you square footage. I believe it's close to 14,000 square feet is the billing office. So the billing office, so the roof came off and water went all throughout the building. It is basically down to its studs. So we will be rebuilding the whole thing from scratch, so to speak. Another large cost would be making all of the wiring inside the building up to code. It was not up to code. And same with all the way that the technological and all the wiring is run. So ostensibly, and I'd love to have you come by. We can take a little tour of the building. It's basically, there's nothing in there except for basically the computer room. It's a shell, yes, sir.
What's the planning company we use?
The planning, like South Central.
Good luck with South Central when you come to check the wire.
They came, and actually they were very helpful. They came and told, they met with the architects. It was principal engineering, but Hardy Architects, Marion Hardy. But Mr. Marty, they came down and walked through the whole building with them and told them what was going to be required.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, what kind of roofing we going back with? Just regular shingles, or are we putting
It was
metal?
a shingle roof. It's already complete. It's already on
And
there.
they did this, and this
Yes,
is part of it?
it was done under the emergency services after the hurricane.
All right, thank you. Is there any additional council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0051.
When they built the shed.
That passes unanimously. We now move to resolutions. Item number 2023-0073, a resolution adopting Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire as required, as a required part of St. Charles' annual financial and compliance audit. Mr. Dewson.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is the official start of the 2022 audit. The auditors will be in my office next week, starting on Monday. So this is the first part of the audit, which is the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire. It just says that we are in compliance with public bid law, budgeting, accounting, debt, and all that good stuff. It's just kind of their checklist to start with. So it's the official start. For the next 2 months, they'll be living with us.
File number 2023-0073 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote for file number 2023-0073. That passes unanimously. Appointments. Item number 2023-0038, a resolution to appoint a member of the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control as a District 7 representative. Council will confirm nomination of the Library Board of Control from District 7 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expired term of Ms. Celeste Uzi. 5 years term beginning April 1st, 2023, and expire April 1st, 2028. Ms. Uzi has served 2 consecutive terms and cannot be appointed. We have a nominee of Ms. Sarah Sacra. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Ms. Sarah Sacra to the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control as the District 7 representative. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2023-0074, a resolution to appoint the member of St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission as the District 5 representative. On Monday, April 10th, the council chairwoman will accept nominations for the Planning and Zoning Commission from District 5 council member as they fill the vacancy created by the expiration of term by Mr. Ryant Price, a 4-year term to begin May 31st, 2023, and expire May 31st, 2027. This is just an announcement. The nomination will be at the next meeting. Okay, next are meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, Housing Authority, Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, 6 p.m., council chambers. Library Board of Control, Tuesday, March 28th, 2023, 6 p.m., East Regional Library Children's Activity Room, 160 West Campus Drive, Destrehan. Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, 2 p.m., council chambers. Civil Service Board, Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, 6:30 p.m., council chambers. Planning and Zoning Commission, meeting rescheduled to Thursday, April 13th, 2023, 6 p.m., council chambers. Communications District 911, Monday, April 10th, 2023, 5 p.m., 911 Center, 222 Joe Louis Lane, Hahnville. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, April 10th, 2023, 6 p.m., council chambers. Announcements, parish holiday, Friday, April 7th, 2023 for Good Friday. And finally, adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. Belloc and a second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes.
I was going to vote for you.
That passes unanimously. On behalf of the council and myself, wish you all a very happy and safe Easter. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned.